Hello everybody and welcome to this de-stressing, calming yoga class today. I'm hoping you're all well, healthy and happy. You might need a few things for this practice. I recommend some yoga blocks or bricks or books, whatever you have available to you, and a big comfy squishy pillow. We're going to be doing a lot of hip openers, so you might need these to prop yourself up, or for later on a big cuddle or when we do Shavasana. So finding a Sukhasana, easy, comfortable seated position on the mat. Let's bring our hands to our knees. If you do hand mudras, I recommend doing one now, but yogi's choice here. Let's bring our attention to our breath, yogi's best tool in order to bring our mind into the present. So as we inhale, let's feel our chest rise, our belly inflate. And as we exhale, feel the belly fall again, emptying out any stress or toxins we have in the lungs. Bringing our attention even deeper inwards, let's scan our bodies for any places that might feel a bit tender or delicate, or just anywhere we need to send extra love and energy to. Just hold these in your mind during your practice. Allowing your brain to declutter, taking anything that's been stressing you out. I know what's all been on our minds recently, but let's put it aside for the next 30 minutes and enjoy this yoga practice for us. Bring the hands to the heart. We're going to practice a pranayama, which is a breathing technique called Nadi shodhana, or balancing breathing. We're going to need our right hand here, and more specifically we're going to need the thumb and the fourth finger. Let's bring the thumb to our right nostril and the fourth finger to our left nostril. So beginning by plugging the right nostril, we're going to inhale through the left for 4 counts. 2, 3, 4, plugging the nose completely, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling through the right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the right, 2, 3, 4, plugging the nose, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling through the left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale here, 2, 3, 4, holding the breath, plugging the nostrils, 3, 4, exhale through the right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale here, 2, 3, 4, plug the nose, hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4, hold the nose, 2, 3, 4, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, plug the nose, 2, 3, 4, exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4, holding the nose, 2, 3, 4, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, plug the nose, 2, 3, 4, exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4, plugging the nose, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling through the right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4, plug the nose, 2, 3, 4, and exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Bring the hands back to the knees. Let's come back to our natural breath here and just be present in how our body is feeling a little bit different. Nadi shodhana is amazing. I fully recommend you read a little bit more about it, or I can tell you in a different practice if you like that. So coming to child's pose, sitting at the bottom of our mats, let's bring our hips on top of our feet and extending our arms forward, bring the head to the mat. If you fancy, bring the arms down by your sides and just let gravity, let your whole body relax into the mat. Breathing here. Let's warm up gently, filling our lungs with deep, beautiful inhales through the nose and exhaling through the nose. We stay here for 5 breaths. Reaching our arms forwards if they're not already. Let's walk our hands off the mat to the left-hand side as to open up our right side body. Breathing 5 breaths here. 1. A beautiful way to just waken up the side body gently. 3, 4, and 5. On our next exhale, let's walk back through center and over off the right side of our mats, as do the same for our left side body. With each inhale, feel space, feel the skin on our left side stretch. Just again waking up gently. 5, and let's come back to center. We're going to do a really big swooping spine movement. So as we exhale round through the spine and come forward, and inhale, drop the hips, opening up for cobra, rolling back towards the back. We exhale, rounding the spine. Again, inhale, drop the hips. If your cobra doesn't really look like this, make sure you bend the elbows and just really gently move the spine. This was my 3rd time filming this, I think, so my spine was very weak and I didn't really think about different poses, but you be where you need to be. We're just really waking up our spines here. Inhaling, coming forward, dropping the hips, cobra. Come back to child's pose, exhale, round forward. Coming to a more tabletop position, let's do cat-cow. Inhale, up. Exhale, rounding through the spine, making a C shape, looking down. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. And exhaling, cat. Inhale, cow. This is a much more gentle spine awakening, so sorry about starting the hard way. Tucking the toes under, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet. Our hamstrings will be likely quite tight. We want our hands and feet to be hip width apart and our gaze up at our navel. Bend the knees if you need to here. Planting our weight down through the left foot. Inhale, raise the right leg to 3-legged dog. Opening up here, keeping the foot flexed if you want to. Let's bend that right knee and open up to scorpion, letting the foot dangle over to the left side. Really nice hip opener. I'm going to say that a lot, sorry. And as we exhale, bring that right knee towards our nose and plant the right foot down, coming down onto the left knee. Inhale, let's sit up into a lunge, a low lunge, bringing our arms up above our heads if we're happy. Your hips might not be as flexible as mine, so be comfortable. Just make sure you plug that right foot into its socket. Come up if you need to and open up the left hip flexor gently. Just make sure you squeeze the glutes as to protect the hip socket. Exhaling, let's bring our hands to the mat. We're going to heel toe that right foot off the mat to come to lizard, so both hands in between. You may want to keep your arms extended here, but if you can, let's drop down onto the elbows. It will be a very deep, intense stretch. If you want to, tuck the toes under and extend on that back leg, but I'm opting to keep the knees down. The knees are going to be used a lot, so if you need to pad them out, please do. Breathing here. Beginning our hip opening sequences. Coming back up onto our hands, heel toe that right foot back in. Quick hamstring counter stretch if this is already pretty intense. Plant that left arm in and inhale the right arm up to the sky. Again, tuck that back toe again if you want to, but I'm going to stay down on the knee. Looking up to that right hand. Revolved or twisted low lunge. Exhale, bring that hand down. We're going to come into pigeon, so dropping that right knee towards the right wrist. That left foot can come where it need. If you need to grab a block to pad out the right hip, please do, because we don't want to collapse into it. Depending on your flexibility, that right ankle will be close to the body if you're less flexible, or close to the wrist if you're more flexible. If you fancy it, come down onto the elbows. I find this to be a real stress reliever, so I fully recommend just enjoying this and breathing deep. A lot of hip openers can be very stress relieving for all of us, because it's pretty much a natural instinct to curl up into a ball every time we feel sad or fearful, and that starts with our hips, and that emotional and physical stress can stay in those hips. So that's why this practice should be very stress relieving for everyone. So just enjoying pigeon, keeping the mind quiet. Inhale, look up. Let's walk our hands back up, bringing that left leg around, and on top of the right leg we're going to go to Gomu Konasana, or cow face pose. I don't really know why it's called that, but we're trying to bring our ankles to our hips. If this is mega uncomfortable, let's extend that bottom leg out. However, if you can, let's keep it folded. I thought you might be able to block it out, but it's really uncomfortable, so I would just recommend extending the leg if you need to. And then we're going to bring our hands into eagle arms, so wrapping the left arm on top of the right. Let's clasp the hands together. If this is uncomfortable, which it was a little bit for me, don't clasp the hands, or just come to a prayer hands, but you pick where you are today. As we inhale, we might lift our arms up to create a little bit more space in our shoulders. This is a beautiful counter stretch to pigeon and all the other hip openers we've been doing. As we're now fully closing up the hips and just stretching them in the opposite direction. Exhale, release the hands and walk them in front of you. Just have a quick couple breaths here. Folding forwards, your hands might just be touching the floor, or you might walk them forwards. Wherever you are is perfect. Walking our hands back, we're going to unravel the legs, stepping that left leg back behind us, tucking the toes under and lifting up and back to downward dog. Now we're going to repeat this sequence on the left hand side, so planting our weight through the right foot. Inhale our left leg up into the sky. Your hamstring's going to determine how high that leg's going to go, and as you can see, this is a much harder side for me because my right hamstring is very tight. Again, bending that left leg, opening up to the side, let it fall behind you, scorpion. Open up that hip a little bit, and as we exhale, we're going to bring that knee towards the nose and plant that left foot between the hands, dropping the right foot to the floor. Inhale, let's come up to a low lunge, bringing the arms up above us if that is comfortable. Again, just remember to plug that left hip back into its socket to protect our right hip flexors and to squeeze the glutes. Ideally, watching myself on film, I would have had my left ankle a little bit more forward to create more of a right angle in that knee, but oh well. Exhaling, bringing the hands to the mat. Oh, quick hamstring stretch. Sorry, I throw those in there randomly. Let's walk that left leg out to the side of the mat, bringing our hands in between and coming to lizard. Again, stay extended on the arms or drop down to the elbows if you want a deeper stretch. Tuck the toes under to lift up that back knee, or just stay where you are. Yogi's choice here. Just experiment and see what feels more comfortable and what serves you the best. So if you're not already there, let's come up onto our hands, heel toe that left foot back to the middle, planting our right hand into the mat. Inhale, lift that left arm up to the sky. Again, tucking that back foot under if you want to. However, I'm opting to leave it on the mat today, take it a bit easier. Looking up towards that left hand, a really beautiful spine and hip opener. squeezing that glute. Always squeeze those glutes, if there's one thing I always say. Exhale, let's bring our hands to the mat, bringing that left knee towards the left ankle. We'll do pigeon on the other side. Grab that block to pad out the hip. You'll see what I really mean on this side. Rotating it more towards the center if you need it. Again, that left ankle can be wherever it needs to be, close to the body or close to the wrist. Just make sure the foot is flexed. Dropping down onto the elbows, it will just bring the stretch more into our left hip. I forgot what I was going to say there. And just feeling the beautiful effects of pigeon, having our heart that close to the ground, have our head dangle. They're all very good at relieving stress, especially anything where your head is below your heart. Just have the blood running in the opposite direction. It can be very calming and almost energizing, actually, having all that beautiful oxygen go into a place where you don't generally get it in such an intense way. So rising back up, let's bring that right leg again in front of us to cow face pose. Again, stacking the knees if we can. If you are uncomfortable here, each side of the body is very different. Let's unravel that left leg if we need to, stick it out, extend it in front of us. If not, bring it back towards the hip, and then coming to our eagle arms, this time the right on top of the left. Opening up the shoulders. Inhale, lifting the arms up, creating more space if you can. If this is just really uncomfortable, let's bring our hands to prayer position, whatever feels comfortable today. Releasing the arms, let's bring our hands to the mat. You might walk them forward as to really increase the stretch in the inner thighs. Or if you are uncomfortable here, just have them on the mat. But it's really lovely counter posed pigeon. So coming up, we're going to unravel, bring that right leg again to the back of the mat, tucking the toes under. Let's bring our hips up and back to downward dog one more time. Taking then those last little walks, really stretching out the chest if we want to, and then walking our hands to meet the feet this time. Let's inhale, a lazy halfway lift, and then grabbing the big toes if you can. If not, just have your arms dangle. Let's just stay in a forward fold for a couple of breaths. Again, just getting that blood flowing in the opposite direction to it normally would. Inhaling, halfway lift, and come all the way up to standing. A really big stretch up, either Hastasana if you fancy it. And now let's come to the center of our mats, having our legs about one leg distance apart. Let's come into goddess legs, so squat those legs down. As we exhale, let's just drop our right shoulders into the middle, look over our left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop the left shoulder. Follow your breath here, so I get a little bit quick. Inhaling and exhaling the right, and then the left. Just opening up the spine. What's really important is that we now squeeze our glutes, engage them, activate them, the quads, and inhale, goddess arms up. If you fancy it, you might want to extend the arms up above your heads and gaze upwards, or just come back to regular goddess arms, keeping our body aligned in one plane of glass, really feeling the goddess power for all those goddesses and male goddesses out there. Yeah. So as we exhale, let's come up and bring our heels to be aligned to the back of the mats now. So we inhale here and exhale, fold forwards, bringing our hands in between our feet. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forwards fully. Again, bringing the crown of the head towards the mat, but it doesn't matter where you are. You might need to adjust the feet, and for any of my more advanced yogis, now would be a beautiful time to add an inversion, a tripod headstand maybe, yogi's choice. However, for those in the beginning of your journey, let's just enjoy this forward fold. Again, a beautiful hip opener and feeling the effects of blood rushing in opposite direction. Enjoy, do some micro movements, and then when you're ready, plant the hands, inhale, halfway lift. Let's heel toe those feet to be about 3 feet distance apart, and exhale, bring the hips towards the mat. This is a yogi squat. It's really intense, so if you need to, let's pad out the hips with some yoga blocks because you'll feel the same stretch, just a little bit more supported and a little bit less intense. Using your elbows to prop open your knees, and then if your hips are a little bit more flexible, let's come to yogi squat. Your heels might be off the ground or your bum might be closer to the mat. You might be more flexible than I am, so just be where you need to be and breathe and smile. Something I obviously forgot to do as it is quite intense. Bringing the hands to support us to find our way to bring our glutes to the mat. We're going to do an extended leg forward fold, seated forward fold even. So just shake out the legs a little bit, find something that feels comfortable. Flexing the feet, inhale the arms up, and let's bring our hands to our feet. You might grab the toes, you might grab the outsides, or you might think I'm nowhere near that and grab the shins. That's absolutely fine. Just be exactly where you are. Don't force anything. Just let your head melt towards the to the knees, or more importantly, let's bring our chest towards the thighs. Again, this is the type of movement where you might need to pad your hips upwards by sitting on a pillow or a blanket, just to rotate them forwards a little bit more. With each inhale, finding space. With each exhale, maybe pulling forward a little bit more. Inhale, let's come up halfway, and let's exhale, release the pose. Now extending our legs out to a wide-legged forward fold, again seated. This time even more important to pad out the hips if we need it, because it will rotate that pelvis to be in a more easy alignment for the position. If the block was too much, grab your pillow. This is a position I find extremely hard after my injury, and I've always found hard. We're going to walk our hands forwards, and when we're ready, exhale, reach forwards, down, again bringing our chest towards the floor. If you are like me and completely not inflexible but not very flexible in this position, you'll look somewhere similar. You might be even more upright, or you might have your belly completely flat on the mat, depending on how flexible those inner thighs are. You might want to keep the feet flexed here or vary it up by pointing the toes a little bit. It's completely up to you. You might need to bend the knees as well. That's really important in both those positions. Bend your knees if you need to. When you're ready, walking over to the right foot, let's grab that foot and just bring that movement more into the right hip. If, again, grabbing the foot isn't possible, let's grab the shin or the toes or sit up a little bit more. And just breathe into the movement. Coming back through the center and over to the left. Let's repeat the movement on this side. Again, finding a position that feels comfortable and is serving you the most purpose. Finally coming back to the center, one last stretch here. Inhale the head up, and exhale, let's walk those hands towards our hips. Now let's do a little release, Baddha Konasana, so bringing the soles of our feet to meet and letting the knees drop towards the mat. We use our thumbs to prise open the feet to bring those knees even closer, and have a straight chest and back, so puff the chest out. Feel tall, feel energy coming out of your crown, of your head, or your metaphorical crown, either or. Enjoy the inner thigh stretch here, a little bit less intense than the extended legs because our hamstrings are no longer being involved. And when we're ready, let's lean our body forward, keeping the integrity of the spine that we've just built. Using our elbows to gently prise open the thighs a bit further. You might need to move your feet forward a little bit in this position if your hips are feeling tight. Again, bringing focus to the breath. Try not to let that mind wander. Inhaling, coming back up. We're gonna just give ourselves a little hug, because I think we all just need one at the minute, especially for those in proper self-isolation. Coming to lie down on the mat, we're just going to windshield wiper the legs, so having the feet about mat width apart. Let the knees fall from one side to the next, just a nice little counter movement to what we've been doing. We're going to prepare ourselves for a bridge, which is the early stages of a wheel. So having the feet by the hip sit bones, engage the glutes and the quads and the abs, and lift the hips up. You can clasp the hands underneath the hips if you fancy it, or just leave them face down on the mat. Again, really using those glutes to support the movement. If you want to, you can take a upside down bow or wheel if you are flexible and would like to do so. Exhale, bring the hips to the mat. Let's just draw the knees into the chest and give ourselves a little hug. Bring that head up, roll around if you want to, grabbing the big toes. Let's come into a happy baby. At this point, I realise I've kind of forgotten that I'm filming and I'm just enjoying myself. So extending the legs and bringing the heels towards my sit bones. I fully encourage you all to do the same thing. Just explore where your body needs to go, or just stay still in happy baby, using gravity in your elbows to bring those toes close to the head. A really lovely, just childlike, euphoric position. Just the final little hip stretch that we need before getting ready for a Shavasana. So I'm going to come to a fallen lotus pose. If you want to do so, bring the soles of your feet together and again have the knees drop out. If you want to get real fancy and relaxed and comfortable, let's bring the pillow to our head and the blocks underneath our knees to support ourselves in this position. Bring the right hand to the belly and the left hand to the chest. Feel that flow of energy coming through you. Let the heat and momentum that we've built up just flow through us, calm our minds. Scan the body for those pains that we had in the beginning. Allow ourselves to breathe a little bit more naturally. Maybe we take a bit of a deeper inhale and a longer exhale. Whatever we need to do in these final moments of relaxation. If you want to, you can extend your feet out to a fully extended Shavasana and have the arms on the mat. Our final relaxation. Allow gravity to really pull your limbs towards the mat and feel supported by the earth and feel grounded. Wiggling the fingers just to do some gentle movements. We're going to find our way to a seated position by rolling over to the right and then using our hands to prop ourselves up by keeping our eyes closed. Bring our hands back to our knees and just breathe here for a few breaths, keeping our spine straight. Bringing our hands to our heart center and Jali Mudra or prayer position. So let's bring our hands to our lips to remind ourselves to be kind to one another and spread peace and love through our words. Raising our hands to our third eye to send our thoughts and gratitude to those who need it now more than ever. And finally, bringing our hands to our heart center to honor ourselves in this difficult time and to be grateful for our bodies and this practice. Bowing our heads. Namaste.